What's up, folks? Your buddy Fatalroadie. Tonight we're doing a Raw recap. We start off with a recap of last week's Raw where Randy Orton attacked Edge. And we got Randy Orton coming out. The crowd is dead silent. Either that or the house mics are out. Once he's in the ring, he is showered with chants of "you suck" and boos. Randy gets on the turnbuckle but can't do his pose like he always does. Once he gets on the mic, he's trying to explain what happened, but the crowd is not having it. He finally says, "I can't do this," and walks off. Interesting opening, but it took way too long. Then we go on to our first match. We get this crap right out of the way. Liv Morgan versus Lana. It is kind of strange though, because Liv Morgan comes out to Lana's graphics. What? I guess someone fell asleep at the switch in the back. But second verse, same as the first. You've seen the last match. This is the same. Liv Morgan won with the flatliner. After the match, the Riot Squad's music hits and Ruby Riott comes out. We haven't seen her in quite some time. I think she had both of her shoulders worked on. She gets into the ring. Liv Morgan is majorly emotional, which I can understand. We haven't seen her in a while. They go to hug, but Ruby Riott attacks Liv Morgan, beats her down, and leaves Lana to pick apart the pieces. We then have Drew McIntyre versus Mojo Rawley. This is going to be a non-title match. Before the match, Drew McIntyre gets on the microphone and thanks the crowd for braving the blizzard, which almost shut down Raw for tonight. He says he's going to Claymore Mojo's head off, talks up his match at WrestleMania. The bell rings, Drew McIntyre rings Mojo's bell with a Claymore kick, gets the pin. That's it. Fast match. If you blink, you missed it. Then we have a wasted backstage segment with Seth Rollins and his Disciples of Pain, which goes on to our next match, Kevin Owens and the Viking Raiders versus the AOP and Buddy Murphy in a 6-man elimination tag team match. Seth Rollins is at ringside. Can't see anything nefarious happening here. The only really interesting part in this whole match was when the AOP ended up going up against the Viking Raiders. Everything else I really could have done without. Behind the referee's back, Seth Rollins hits the curb stomp on Eric, and on the other side of the ring, Ivar wrecks his shoulder up against the ringside. Both members of the Viking Raiders are taken out, leaving Kevin Owens to fend for himself once again. Owens rallies back with a pop-up powerbomb on Buddy Murphy to eliminate him, hits the stunner on Akam, getting him eliminated, but Razor was able to beat him down, gets the pin, and the Disciples of Pain win it. Backstage, Ricochet talks up his chance in a triple threat match that's later on tonight. Then we got Aleister Black versus Eric Young. This was basically a glorified squash match. Aleister Black won after a black mass. After the match, Aleister Black gets on the microphone and gives us an inspirational message, basically saying he's still going to be kicking people's ass. Then we got Humberto Carrillo coming out, and turns out he's going to be facing Angel Garza. He comes out with Zelina Vega. After a very long drawn-out bit, we find out Zelina Vega has recruited Angel Garza to fight his cousin. After another very extended verbal tete-a-tete, Angel Garza attacks Humberto Carrillo. Vega pulls up the mat again. Garza tries to go for a hammerlock DDT, but Rey Mysterio comes out and stops him. And that's going to be our next match. Rey Mysterio versus Angel Garza. After all of the talk that just went on, this was actually a decent match. I liked it. But as always, Zelina Vega gets involved. She distracts Rey Mysterio. He ends up eating a super kick, and Garza gives him the hammerlock DDT on the concrete floor, causing a disqualification. Like I said, this was good. I could actually see this being another match and actually enjoying it. Then we got Charlotte Flair coming out, and she comes out, points to the sign, and then a couple seconds later, points at the sign again. Talks about who she'll face at WrestleMania. Then Rhea Ripley comes out. She says, "You've beaten Becky, you've beaten Bayley, but you haven't beaten me. Although, I've beaten you." She holds up her title. Charlotte Flair gets in her face. Looks like it might be going right there. But Charlotte Flair walks off, gets up on top of the ramp, and goes, "Woo!" And that's pretty much it. You find out later that on Wednesday on NXT, Rhea Ripley is going to get her answer from Charlotte Flair, which is pretty much going to be what their match is going to be. Backstage, Seth Rollins talks up his chances at the triple threat match tonight. Then we got Asuka versus Natalya. This is a match. I mean, it was decent. It wasn't completely bad. There's a good bit of back and forth. You know, there was some spots where I really got into it, but it felt like it was dragging out just a little too long. Asuka put on the Asuka lock, got the submission. After the match, she gets on the microphone and she sounds rather pissed at Becky Lynch, and she says she wants a rematch. Becky Lynch comes walking out, tells Asuka that you're on. Kairi Sane tries to attack from behind, but Becky Lynch stops her, says, "Hey, y'all got all these superpowers, I got eyes in the back of my head," and walks off. So next week, we're going to have a rematch, Asuka versus Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship. Then we got Seth Rollins coming out. He congratulates AOP and Buddy Murphy on their win earlier tonight. He says now it's his time to win. He's going to be dethroning Brock Lesnar. Runs his mouth some more, runs down the crowd. He says he will win tonight and he will beat Brock Lesnar at Super Showdown. So we go on to our main event, Bobby Lashley versus Ricochet versus Seth Rollins in a triple threat match. The winner will be facing Brock Lesnar at Super Showdown. It started off decent, but of course, Buddy Murphy and the AOP come running out. They attack Lashley and Ricochet. Kevin Owens and Eric from the Viking Raiders come out to even everything out. They beat down the AOP and Buddy Murphy. After all that shit happened, the match actually improved. There was a good bit of back and forth. I actually liked it. Surprising. Everyone was putting on a kick-ass bit of offense. Ricochet ended up hitting the 630 on Bobby Lashley, got the pin, and right immediately, Brock Lesnar comes running in, hits the F5 on Ricochet, and walks off. And with this, we end tonight's Raw. Now, the triple threat match was pretty predictable. We got one face and two heels, with a heel champion. Wonder who's going to be going to Super Showdown. I really didn't want to see Seth Rollins because we've seen that before. Bobby Lashley would have been a really good match, but we're going to get Ricochet versus Brock Lesnar. That's going to be an easy win for Brock Lesnar. We're pretty much going to be feeding Ricochet over to him. Tonight's Raw was decent. I mean, it was really, really talk heavy, and it was like, just shut the fuck up. I mean, we could have gotten at least a match or two in with all these talk segments and how drawn out they were. But the matches were good. There were some that were kind of better than others. You know, you take the bad with the good. I'm not trying to be completely negative with this. It did end up on a good note. I liked the triple threat match. And they're saying that Goldberg is going to be on SmackDown later this week. So that'll do it for this episode of Raw Recap. I'll be back later this week with the SmackDown review. Leave a comment down below what you thought of tonight's Raw, what you thought about this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to share and subscribe. I've been Fatalroadie. You've been awesome. Thank you very much for watching. And remember, if it's too loud, you're too old. See ya.